I hope you haven't gone through this, but if you have, you will understand where I'm coming from. We're going to talk about something that's not a fun subject, but hopefully you can learn from. Stay tuned.
I'm Cristy Code Red, and you're listening to Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle, where we believe food holds the power to heal or poison, and we believe our society has been misled regarding proper nutrition and weight loss. You're in the right place if you're looking for some straight up truth, because I'm here to shed light on the lies and brainwashing that has taken place over the past 5 decades. Thanks so much for listening.
Welcome back to another episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. I'm your host, Cristy Code Red, author, entrepreneur, retired professional boxer. And in this episode, I debated on whether to talk about this or not because it's not really a subject that we really talk about a lot. However, Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle, we kind of cover everything. And I have been transparent and open with you from the beginning. Why would that change now? It's not going to. We're coming up on 300 episodes, and I'm just going to continue to be what I have been for all these years that I've been doing this podcast. So today, we're going to go through 3 things I've learned from a toxic relationship. 3 things I've learned from a toxic relationship. In no particular order. I have been in a couple of toxic relationships in my day. I'm 48. I've been in a few relationships, a few marriages, and I wish that I would have known back then what I know now. Of course, that's everybody's mantra, but definitely I learned a ton from this relationship that I was in 2023. Of course, defamation is a very real thing, so I will not be mentioning anybody's name or any kind of description about this person because I don't. That's not the point of this. I'm not trying to do that. Some of you guys will figure it out. But here we go. 3 things I learned from a toxic. Now, I did not know that this was a toxic. Well, okay. I knew it wasn't the best relationship. I knew it wasn't, but I mean, what we're getting ready to talk about here, it'll explain a few things. But when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, their whole idea of getting you is to throw you away. That's what a narcissist does when he or she gets into a relationship. They want you so they can throw you away. They want you so they can toss you aside. They want you so they can break up with you. It's a terrible relationship. I've never been in a relationship with a narcissist until this, and it was just a toxic relationship. When it was good, it was good. When it was bad, it was horrible, absolutely horrible. And the good kept bringing me back for more, and then it was bad, and then the good would wheel. It was terrible. It was very unhealthy. So I learned a lot. In fact, I learned I'm a better person now because of this. So I would go through it again because I learned so much about myself. I learned what I don't want. I learned what I want. I learned about myself. So I'm really, really, really grateful for it. And I can pretty much say that about almost all of my relationships. There was one that it was terrible, that I wish I learned nothing from it. It was terrible. It was like, no, you can have that. That's 100% regret. Nothing good came of that. But the rest of them, good things came of it. And you know what? Things, I learned from this one. Okay, first off, and I'm looking down at these. I wrote them down just in case. But I don't think they're in any particular order. So I'm just going to go with the first one I wrote down that came in my head when I was kind of gearing up to record this podcast. The first lesson I learned from being in a toxic relationship is trust your gut. Your gut is correct. Pretty much, especially ladies have this intuition that nobody can, that it's second to none. I mean, men don't even have, like women. We have this gut. we have this gut feeling, we have this intuition that nobody can even explain. It's incredible. And a woman always knows. And you're mostly whoever I mostly have women, 93% of my clients are women. So I mostly have women who are listening to this, but um it, your gut is telling you something's not right. Your gut is telling you something's not right. And my gut was telling me something wasn't right. Now, like I said, I when it was good, it was good. So the good pulled me back around, and I wanted to stick around to see if it was going to get better. Which brings me to my next one, but I want to spend a little time on trust your gut. Your gut is going to give you, your gut knows. Anytime I've ever asked somebody, what does your gut tell you? They have an answer like that. Your you usually are pulled one way or the other, and in your heart of hearts, in your head, in your gut, and you know that something's not right, and we put up with things when we shouldn't, for various reasons. You might be lonely, you might be bored, you might think it's going to work out, it might be a pride thing. Maybe this person's good looking and makes you look good. Maybe they have money, and there's a long list of reasons why we stay in a toxic relationship, but your gut is giving you clear signals. Your gut is letting you know, and yet you just don't listen to it all the time. And I really want to encourage you to listen to your gut. My gut was telling me very clear signals about this toxic relationship, and I just didn't. I recognized the voice, I recognized the gut feeling, but I didn't do anything about it right then. And not a lot of time went by before I did do something about it, but I should have done something right then. Of course, it was never really clear. With a narcissist, they are in the beginning, they are very good at convincing you that you are the one, and that they are the one for you, and that this is a great future. Like this is everything. They're really good at matching your energy, matching your goals, your drive, your desires. And that's kind of how they get you roped in. And then, of course, that's when they start. I know with this person criticized every single thing about me, everything from my clothes, my hair, my makeup, my belt, my shoes, my socks, the way that I smiled, the way that I laughed, the way that I talked, the words I chose, the way I moved my eyes, the way I tilted my head. Every single thing about me was criticized. And when I say it to you like that, you say, why would you even spend 1 second with that person? Because it didn't happen all at once. It was sneaky, and it was manipulative, and it wasn't as clear as I'm telling you right now. But when I sat back and thought about it, I was like, wait a minute, I'm getting criticized all the time. But it wasn't as clear in the beginning. It wasn't a clear red flag in the beginning. So it it was sneaky, and it was insidious. And it it was a tough one. At first it seemed right, and at first it seemed good, and there were parts that were good. And on paper it all seemed good. But it was very toxic. So trust your gut. Your gut will tell you. Lesson number 2 that I learned from a toxic relationship: nothing is going to change. You will not change him. You will not change her. Nothing is going to change. And you think, now I was with an abusive guy when I was 18, right out of high school. Guy beat me up for 9 months. And it was just terrible. It was absolutely terrible. Now that is something that you really can't change. Once an abuser, they're gonna abuse again. If a man thinks it's okay to hit a woman, or to slap or punch or hit or pinch, or like do any kind of harm to a woman in any way, shape, or form, and vice versa, you just don't hear of a woman hitting a man very often. Or that's never okay to lay your hand on someone in that way. It's never okay to push, to shove, to slap, to bite, to any of that. Outside of like some kink you guys are doing in the bedroom or whatever. It's never okay to manhandle another person like that. It's never okay. It had to be a life-threatening situation for me to ever lay a hand on somebody else out in public, and definitely the person you claim to love. That's never okay. And so I knew that you can't change an abuser. And once he abuses, it's he always promises it's not going to happen again, and it always happens again. It might be 1 month, it might be 5 years until he abuses again, but he will abuse you again. He will hit you again. There will be some sort of abuse. That's just how that person's wired. Nothing is going to change. And with a narcissist, you can't. Nothing's going to change because they don't think that they say they're doing the work. They say that they're doing a lot of self-work, and that's part of how they rope you and get you in, but they're not. They don't think that they're wrong. They don't think that there's anything wrong with them. And it's always about what's wrong with you, and where you can improve, and the work that you need to do. And it's just a lot of criticism. And you need to understand that it's not going to get better. It's not going to get better. It might get better temporarily, but it's always going to go back to the way that things were. So the sooner you realize that, the sooner you can quit wasting your time. And finally, I realized it, and I stopped wasting my time. And I guess I thought, because things would, like I said, when things were good, they were good, and I stayed because those were good times. But then it would go real bad. When they were bad, it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. They never abused me or anything like that, but it was just very manipulative and toxic criticism. It was terrible. It constantly made me, it's a lot of gaslighting, the king of gaslighting. So you need to understand that is not going to change. And you can't change them. They are not going to change. Things will not get better. Again, it might temporarily get better, but it's not going to get better in the end. That's just the reality of it. And the third thing that I learned from being in a toxic relationship is you are not broken and damaged. You are not broken and damaged. Now, I've been in a couple of relationships that left me feeling like damaged goods. And for a long time, I did feel like damaged goods. Like, who's going to want me? What kind of high value man is going to want me? Because I am so damaged at this point. And that was a hard one for me to get past. And I realize I'm not. Even the multiple times I've been married and divorced or had my marriage annulled by a judge, I had that happen. But I still... I had to really forgive myself, and I had to allow myself to be redeemed and be able to come as a clean person to hopefully a partner that I will have the rest of my life. The final partner I'll have. But until you realize you are not broken and damaged, you are going to feel that shame, and you're going to feel that the criticism all the time. And there was nothing wrong with my belt, my shoes. There was nothing wrong with my makeup. There was nothing wrong with the way that I laughed. There was nothing wrong with the words that I used. There was nothing wrong with me. Could I do work? We can always do work. There's always work to be done on ourselves. But fundamentally, I wasn't a broken person. But I wasn't I wasn't a weird person or damaged. And yet, this person made me. I came out of a toxic relationship feeling like I was damaged goods. And you got to get past that before you go into the next relationship. You've got to do the work. You've got to make sure you're healed. And I've seen some things on like TikTok and Instagram reels and stuff. And it was like, find your person and heal with that person. I think that is a little bit true, but I think you don't want to bring your crap into the next relationship. You want to make sure you're not bringing that crap in. You want to make sure that is not going to be a problem in your next relationship. So I think the healing needs to be done. You need to fall in love with yourself. You need to be okay with you and be okay between you and God, and realize just like what was that book, The Redeemed or The Redeemer? Redeeming Love by, who is it? Redeeming Love. I don't have my phone sitting here. Some of you guys are saying it. Redeeming Love by, Oh, I know some of you guys are shouting it out right now, but it's that famous book. It's been around for decades, and it's just like that. It was a prostitute, and this man fell in love with the prostitute, and God healed her, and she had to. I mean, talk about damaged goods. She was full of incredible shame and guilt, and she had to be redeemed. And Christ is the only one that can redeem you. Christ is the only one that could redeem me and make me feel whole again. So much damage was done with these multiple relationships that weren't good. Jason Nichols said to me, if you don't want kids, I don't want you. And I didn't want kids, and me having me for a wife wasn't good enough. The guy that beat me up right out of high school, he said, I would never be smart enough to go to college. I used to dream driving by a community college. I desperately wanted to go to college and become something. And he said, "You're not smart enough. You'll never be anything. You're dumb. And he would laugh at me. And that emotional trauma, that emotional abuse that I got from him was way worse than the physical. The bruises went away in a week. I can heal from a black eye in 1 week, but boy, his words cut way deeper than anything he ever did, any mark he ever left on me. So you need to understand, you need to be redeemed. Christ is the only one who can redeem you. I wouldn't call my relationship with Miles toxic. There were parts of it that were not good. I mean, the last 5 years we were married, we were definitely pulling apart. But there was no abuse or any kind of infidelity or any kind of anything like that with us. There wasn't any massive disrespect. I mean, I'm sure we said some things to each other that we shouldn't have said, or that we wish we wouldn't have said, but nothing bad. We, even to this day, I mean, the tail light is out on my FJ, and he said he would help me teach me how to change the tail light, so we remain cordial to each other. So but you need to understand that true redemption and true cleansing of your soul and becoming a new person, that's going to come from Christ. And that's going to come from you doing the work. You are not broken. You are not damaged. If you are broken and damaged, not from that guy. Like, I mean, if you are broken and damaged, like, when I say you're not broken, you might be broken from just being beat up, but that doesn't mean you're damaged goods for the next guy. That's what I mean by you might be damaged. You might be damaged just from taking a beating for so long and being knocked down for so long. That part, yes, that you need to heal from. You need to come back from that. You need to heal from that. But you are not damaged goods. As long as you heal from that, you realize you have self-worth, and your confidence is back up, and you're redeemed, then you are not damaged goods, and you've done the work. I think you need to do the work. I know I had to do the work before I got into another relationship. I need to make sure that I did not bring that crap into another relationship. I have loads of confidence. My confidence has not gone down just because this guy cut me down all the time and criticized me all the time. Nothing was ever good enough. Nothing was ever up to his standards. I was always getting cut down at every turn. And it was just like, golly, can I never do anything right? No, not in his eyes. So that took some healing, and I healed, and I got past it, and I'm fine now. So if this is you, if you've been in a toxic relationship, and it doesn't need to be with a partner, it could be with a mom or a mother-in-law or a sister or an aunt, then you need to do the work. Trust your gut. Nothing is going to change, and you are not broken and damaged. Do the work, do the healing before you get into another relationship. It's important that you do this so that you don't bring your crap along into the next relationship. Again, I know I've heard people say heal together. I think there's probably some things you can probably heal together, but I think this is something, I think a low self-confidence is something you don't want to bring into a marriage, a relationship, the next relationship. Nobody wants to be with somebody with low self-confidence. Nobody wants to be with somebody who's high maintenance, that always has to be brought up, and always told that they're wonderful and and that you're working so hard just to keep that person up. Your happiness is nobody else's responsibility. That's a high maintenance person. You're your happiness is his responsibility. He's got to keep you happy all the time. Ain't nobody got time for that crap. Your happiness is your responsibility. Nobody's job to keep you happy. So if you are always looking to the opposite sex or somebody else to build you up, look, I get that every old dog needs a bone. Everybody could use a compliment once in a while. But if you're always looking for that validation in order for you to have a good day or to feel like you're worth something, bull crap, you've got a lot of work to do, and you need to do the work before you get into another relationship, because you're going to bring that crap into the relationship. And now that new guy is going to be responsible for your happiness because you've got such low confidence. That's not going to work. All right. That's not going to work. So I know this is a little bit of a shorter episode, but I hope you enjoyed this episode of Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. 3 things I learned from a toxic relationship. I hope it helped you. I hope it brought some sort of light to the surface that maybe you didn't realize. Hope it brought some sort of healing. And I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for listening to Rebel Weight Loss and Lifestyle. If you are looking for some hardcore accountability to get and keep this weight off, look no further, because I've got VIP Connection. This is the ultimate connection to me, just short of me sleeping on your couch. You're going to get 3 daily messages from me in real time directly to you. You're going to submit your weight every Friday. We're going to go over it in a weekly meeting on Sunday nights, and I'm going to give you feedback. You'll have access to a monthly VIP breakfast with me in Boise, a monthly VIP supplement box, access to any workshop, any PDF promo that I hold for that month. You'll have access to the Ringside membership. And best of all, you'll have a fully customized nutrition program written just for you. We're talking about over $3,000 total value for $397 a month, and you can cancel anytime. Go to coderedlifestyle.com/VIP to check that out.